Hi guys, so I've got a 1-ton chain hoist that I was given the other day. It's got an electrical fault with it right now, but I'm hoping I can fix it. If I can use it again. Use it in the future in my new garage. So fingers crossed I can. You'll see how I get on and see what I do to test it, and yeah, follow along if you want to. Currently there's 25 meters of chain, and I don't know how many meters of cable, but there's just all of the cable there. So I'm going to cut the chain down. I need about 3 meters, and I could probably do with about maybe, I don't know, I might make a 3-meter lead and have it on an extension or something like that, or on a retractable extension, but I'll cut it down to something like 3 meters and then see how we go. At the moment there's an issue with it where it apparently won't retract properly. It's jumpy or jittery or something, so I'm going to take the lead off, probably unwire the whole thing and put a new little lead on it. I thought I'd say as well, that is deceivingly heavy. I would call that hernia heavy, because it is just wrecked me today. Trying to move that. Even with a sack barrow, I struggled to lift it, I struggled to bring it in here, so yeah, it's really, really heavy. We've got all the chain there, so that's pretty cool, and bird's nest as well, just adds to that. Just helps that it's all entangled in itself to make everything as difficult as possible, so I couldn't have asked for more really, but I'll get this untangled and get it cut down. It's something to do with, I would have thought a clutch or something. So
very nice words, but happens to be wrong.
If I press the button, it goes in, and then it goes into kind of a false thing. It just won't engage. I've done the chain now, shortened that to about 3 or 4 meters. Still a bit long, but I'd rather it be longer than shorter. But that cable is ridiculous, so I'm going to get rid of that first so it's more manageable. So just taking this end cover off, I can't see anything physically wrong. One thing I did notice is that gap is slightly different to that gap. There are 2 contacts there in the motor by the looks of things. So what I'm tempted to do is just adjust that spring there. You can see there's a slight difference between how far out the nuts are there, so I wonder if it's come undone very slightly. I'm going to adjust that one in there. I'll mark out where it was, and I'll probably measure the gap there as well. But if I can get the gap the same from there over to there, because the 2 of them are different, I have a feeling that might be binding, or there should be a start capacitor for the motor somewhere. It might also be that the start capacitor is not working properly, because it's just not it's not got enough oomph to fire it up. I'm going to just try and disconnect this quickly, and I'll just undo it and pull it apart just so the clutch is free, and just see if that's causing any issues. And if that's not, then I assume that it's going to be the capacitor causing problems. So, or there should be a capacitor somewhere, but I'll have a look for that in a moment, and I think I'll try that first. So I've taken the clutch off there. I'm going to clean that all out. While I'm in there, because it's quite easy to get to, I'm going to cut this wiring off now. It's made quite a bit of room with that off there, so I think that'd be the easiest thing to do. I'm not going to be defeated by this, so I might as well just cut it off right now, and yeah, I'll give it a try and we'll see how it goes. So I'll be back in a minute, and now I am going to cut the cable off. I've shortened the cable now. So this, I thought that was an earth strap initially, but it's actually like to stop you from ripping that out while it's overhead. So I didn't have, on the last one there was like a clamp. Actually, here it is. I don't know if that will zoom. It's not bloody zooming, is it? There was like a little metal clamp. I don't have any of those, so what I did was I took a yellow crimp that I had, I cut the end off of it, and then I was able to feed the cable through and just crimp it on there so it looks nice and neat. I was going to use a like a screw down wire, like cable coupling, but I didn't even have one of those that was the right size. I've got some smaller ones, so I've done that now. That's good. I've connected it all up. This one here I had to just crimp together. I didn't actually realise initially that it goes all the way through to the other side, but that's no issues. I've tested it as well and it all works, so now I'm going to tie these all back out of the way and put it back together. I'll put the clutch back in once I've cleaned it all. Motor spins all nice and free, which is good. So yeah, I'm going to put it all back together, and then I'm going to try and work out what exactly is wrong with that. Still doing it a little bit, so here you go. To me it seems like the capacitors have gone, or at least on their way out. They're starting, but just with the load that the electromagnetic brake brings in, it's not enough just to fire it up. It just grabs a little bit on the brake, which then causes the motor not to be able to start. So I think what I'll do is get 2 new capacitors for it. I had similar sort of issues with the ring roller when I was doing that. If the capacitors were too small, it would just start very slowly, like it was doing just then, and then fire up into full power afterwards. So I think that's what I'll do. I'll get some new rollers, get some new some capacitors for it, and see how it goes. So I'm just going to test the capacitors now. I have a feeling that the capacitors might be failed. So I've got this is one of the ones from my ring roller, and I know this works, so I'll just show you how to do it. So my multimeter, it's only a cheap one, but it's got I don't know if that was zoom or not. Is it going to zoom? There you go, that's zoomed. It's got a capacitor reading here, so put it onto that. Now mine is a bit slow to zero. I imagine these cables are causing a very slight sort of issue with the reading. So what I've been doing was reset it, and then as it's sort of reset, it's quite fiddly. As it's reset, I then put the contacts, the contacts on the terminals. So if I put one up right now, so it's going to go to 0, and then I'll put it on there. Takes a second as well, I've noticed. Right, 50.34 farads. So this is a 50 plus or minus 5%. And so obviously if it was 100 farads, or microfarads I think it is, it would be literally 5 microfarads either way. So it could be 95 or 105, but being 50, so it's 2.5. So 52.5 between 52.5 and 47.5, and obviously we have a reading of, when it loads, hang on, 50.44. So that capacitor is more than okay. So now this one's 40 microfarads, which is plus or minus 6%. And I would have to work that one out on the calculator, but I'll just reset it. So 39.5. So even without working out what that is, I'll work it out in a minute and I'll put it on the video, but even without knowing what that is, off the top of my head, I know that's going to be okay. So I'm going to put this all, I'm going to put this side back together. The start capacitor there, which is a 400 to 480 microfarad capacitor, that I think needs replacing. My multimeter can only measure up to 200 microfarad capacitors, so I can't measure that with what I have. So I'm going to try and source a capacitor and hope for the best. I mean, it's giving me every sort of indication of a bad capacitor, or like a bad start capacitor. If I put some weight on the end, I stood on the end of the hook, folded on the floor there a minute ago, and it just wouldn't. It was groaning, but it just wouldn't fire up. And even if I press the button here, I mean, you can hear it start spooling and then initially go further than that, so and jump into full power. So I think it needs a new capacitor. I'm going to order one and hope for the best. And if it's not that, we'll look a bit deeper. But I'd be very surprised if it's anything other than the capacitor. The other one's fine, as we saw on like my multimeter. So this side can at least go back together. And when I'm actually ready to use it, I'll take this whole cable off anyway, and I'm going to hardwire it in. So that's a whole different project, but it's going to be a little gantry crane in my garage when it's done, so hopefully all goes well. But if we can get this working first, then that's the main thing, and we can go from there. So fast forward a couple of weeks, I got the capacitor, yeah, so I'm just going to fit it now and hope for the best. Right, so I've just put the new capacitor on. There's the old one just sat over there, and just testing it now for the first time. That seems to have fixed it, which is really good. Unfortunately, as you saw, I couldn't test that one, so it was just sort of a case of trial and error. I didn't have anything big enough to actually be able to test it, being such a big capacitor. Now, the noise that you can hear, if the metallic noise, is the magnetic brake in there. You can just hear it release. I mean, that's very good. So I'm quite pleased with that. So now I've got myself 1 ton hoist for my garage when I get it up and finished, hopefully in a month or two, and I might bring you along for that as well, maybe. So the hoist still came out okay, which is great. Fingers crossed it works when it's under load. That'll be the sort of true test of it, obviously, to see if it will lift a load up that's already suspended. So fingers crossed that works, but I can't test that right now. So when I can, I will. I'll probably video it and show you what my plans are with it, but that's a little bit away at the moment. So once I can get that all sorted, then I will. I've got a few other projects on the go as well at the moment, so I might video some of them if anyone wants to see them. Maybe you could drop a comment below and let me know if you want to see them or whatnot. But yeah, I hope you liked the video. Thanks for watching.